Today, we will talk about XLM and a company that is working with the U.S. Government to tokenize energy commodities such as crude oil and natural gas. Now, that in itself is huge, but we will also talk about a connection to Soroban smart contracts and how that can and will eventually tie into a CBDC on XLM. So it's a lot of information, but how about we kick it off with an explanation about this crude oil and natural gas part?
I'll leave the details on Discord of how to access it, how to use it. So this is open for everyone to use it, for anyone to apply it to their own projects. Um, and I wanted to use an example of how we're using it ourselves with a project called Neoflow. So in this case, what we're doing is we're creating a passport for a barrel of oil so that you can see all the details about that barrel of oil from the moment it's born, from the moment it's sourced from the well, until the moment it's refined. In our specific use case, we're using this information for cross-border clearance with US CBP, right? So each single barrel, or really each batch of 40,000 barrels, has their own identity. So when it gets to the border, they show their passport. In all cross-border clearance, it's automatic, right? It just happens. Think about the Nexus program for barrels of oil. So I hope this got you excited to think and to double click on what DIDs are, what DIDs in Soroban are. If you have more questions, if you want us to help you.
Okay, so that is done with a collaboration with Mavennet, and if you go on their site, you can find this Neoflow program that is digitalizing energy assets and a lot of other buzzwords in there, but it essentially creates a digital passport for energy assets, and that is important because we get a lot of our crude oil from the Canadian tar sand fields up north. I spent about 9 years or so in oil and gas and energy. So as soon as I heard this, I was uh, intrigued. So it has a lot of information here on how it can actually make things easier and reduce costs, but it is meant to provide provable product traceability, faster custom clearance, proof of origination, and proof of environmental impact, which I think that pretty much everyone is just adding that in there just with the economy and our society at this point in time. But another point that what was said is that it'll help with the U.S. Nexus aspect as well, and that is a tax term. So essentially, that just means that it is making it easier to accurately track what is a U.S. taxable transaction or asset. So they are doing this by creating digital IDs. Now, what are those actually? DIDs are the answer to a universal, I can't say STs, for digital identity. They are a novel form of identifier that enables verifiable self-sovereign d- digital IDs. It is a fingerprint that operates like an exclusive keychain. I'm obviously having a hard time on my speech. I have a cold still, and I can't breathe through my nose, which makes things even harder. So, Mavennet has announced that they are creating a decentralized ID layer for XLM using Soroban, which that is interesting because I believe in Protocol 20, I think it's 20 right now. I don't know if 20 just passed or if 21 did. I forget. But they were a name in that because they are enabling XLM smart contracts. So DID is a XLM native, self-sovereign, decentralized, and interoperable identity capability based on the esteemed W3C DID core spec. That was a lot of words. This DID model can also be applied to a lot of other kinds of ID problems. So we have government IDs, refugee ID, which is interesting. I don't really have any comments on that at this time because I would probably get kicked off of here. And privacy preserving voting and KYC KYB. So obviously this part here and this part here line up very well with parts of what would be required for a CBDC on XLM in order to have total information and total control on us and all of our transactions. So Mavennet's Neoflow is an energy traceability platform that tracks product lifecycle events, providing proof of origin, composition, and environmental impact while digitizing relevant value chain information. So, they are teamed up with the Department of Homeland Security and the Customs and Border Patrol as well. So, this is actually happening right now, and it is the first time that I have seen the use of XLM with a U.S. government agency. So here is the announcement in regards to the Department of Homeland Security and Customs and Border Protection, and that just says everything that it had in that post. Here is one of the press announcements on it. So it is all out there. It is from from October 3rd of 2023. And yep, we checked out the site. This is the Neoflow homepage for all of their overall energy things as well. So it has a lot of information out there if you are more interested in that. And I also found an article that explains it, and it's extremely long, and it is well written, so I won't rehash that. And to touch on the importance of Soroban and XLM, it is a developer-friendly Rust-based smart contract platform. It was or is currently live on testnet, and it integrates and works alongside with the existing XLM chain. I thought that was actually implemented in their most recent protocol upgrade. I might be mistaken, but if it is not live right now, it will be in not a lot of time. So this all ties into how XLM is already positioning itself to be a chain that is very adoptable for things like CBDCs. And in fact, a pilot has actually been conducted and completed in Ukraine, not only for an actual CBDC, but for UBI as well, which is Universal Basic Income. And that was with USDC that runs on XLM, and USDC and Apple have a partnership. Yes. So this post here was actually it was originally about Apple, which I could probably do an entire video on that connection there, which I probably will now. But this right here is what I am talking about. It is a map that XX put out a while back, and I explained it in depth in a video a while back. But it is pretty much saying that this humanitarian aid program with USDC and XLM is kind of a pilot for the model of a CBDC, and that would be sent out to the people who are participating over a UBI in order to increase adoption. So the example here was with the U.S. and FedNow, but that could be pretty much any other country out there. But it just shows that USDC can be sent over XLM, which then goes into an XLM wallet, which can then be transferred into cash via their partner MoneyGram. So that would look a lot like a UBI, where the CBDC would be sent out to our digital wallets, which is a lot more efficient. However, it is essentially a programmable cache, which means that they can implement a lot of controls on it, which is not good. And a couple of other things why the XLM platform is already very well positioned to run kinds of programs that use assets like a CBDC is because that they have clawbacks and a freeze feature right now. So essentially, a clawback can retrieve an asset and remove it from the recipient's account. And the freeze feature means that an asset issuer can prevent asset activity in an account until it is unfrozen. So each of these two code features would be really important for a financial institution that wants to have a lot of control over the assets that they actually provide you, which in our example here would be a CBDC. And I would be amiss if I didn't remind us all that XLM is heavily connected into XRP, not only in the actual design of the protocols and networks themselves, because the XLM network was created as a fork of XRP, but they all go back to the original PayPal mafia with uh, Jed McCaleb, Peter Thiel, and even Elon Musk as well. And there's a lot of pe- people who are heavily involved in XRP and XLM as well, including Chris Larson, who is now involved with Ripple primarily. You've got Sean Bennett, who worked with XRP and XLM before going over to create SHX. And let's see, you've got Peter Thiel and Elon Musk as well. So they will always be extremely intertwined. Oh, and you have David Schwartz, who actually used to work for the U.S. Government at the NSA. The thing about XLM is that it is actually a little bit farther along in the technical end of things as far as preparing their protocol and network for a CBDC asset, because their clawback feature and their freeze feature have already been passed and are currently active on the XLM chain. Clawback has not yet been passed on the XRPL. So even though XRP, in my opinion, is much more heavily connected into all of these worldwide financial institutions and central banks, they have been slower to adopt technological changes onto the XRPL.